Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here to forward this week's WIP and chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you're working on and work alongside while I chat. Or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today I am going to be working on my Oasis from Distracted by Diamonds. I haven't actually started this kit. I'm going to lay down the first drills, so let me zoom into where I'm going to be working and I will be right back. Hopefully the background noise is not going to be too terribly much. Oops, let me start my timer. And hopefully you guys can't hear the ambient noise because I am not in my regular diamond painting space. I mean, obviously we moved. I have been filming in the rental, but hubby and I have been spending time here at the house, which is where I'm now filming from, so yay. It's been a crazy week. If you guys missed it, the last WIP and chat, I think I told you that the sellers had called and wanted to move up our closing because we were originally supposed to close several weeks from now. And it was kind of funny because hubby and I had been considering calling the realtor and asking if the sellers would be interested or able in moving it up because we were just anxious to get done. And there really wasn't a reason for us to wait. I think the sellers wanted more time to move out their belongings, but I think it ended up taking less time than they thought. Really fortuitous that we got a phone call from him right when we had been thinking about it. So we said, sure, love to move it up. And we closed on the house on Monday. So it's been kind of a whirlwind week since then. We closed on the house. We have been buying furniture because, as you know, we didn't bring a ton of furniture with us. And we still have stuff put in various places. There is still boxes of things at my mother-in-law's house. There are still things at the rental. Obviously, my youngest is still staying there. We didn't want to leave our belongings just sitting empty, not empty, but sitting in the rental with nobody in it, even though the youngest could have come with us. I think he's actually enjoying having these few weeks to himself. We do have a room that we're going to eventually turn into a little apartment. Whether it ends up being for him or he moves out and finds his own place, I don't know. We'll see, but I would be fine with him staying in it. And then it could be rental income for us later down the road. It hasn't even been a week. It feels like it's been so much longer since we started moving everything. We did buy a couch. We went back to look for the plushie one that hubby thought that he wanted, and it had been sold. So I just said, well, it wasn't meant for us to have that one yet. And honestly, it would have been huge in our living room. This house is much smaller than our previous house, so it would have looked out of place in our living room. We got the couch that I wanted, the pop-out couch, which I tried to put a picture of on the post yesterday when I was telling you guys I wasn't going to have a video yesterday. YouTube did not like the picture because it wasn't in the right aspect ratio, and I couldn't figure out how to get it in the right aspect ratio, so I'll just throw a picture of it up there now. It is nice and comfy. It has the chaise on the end like we wanted. It has the little pull-out section so hubby and I can both snuggle up. We both had a really good nap on it yesterday, so it's been good. It has been very nice to have a place to sit. The first couple of days that we were here, there was just a couple of like folding chairs to sit in, so having an actual couch and we have our TV and everything set up, so that's been good. Just to kind of give us an idea what living here is going to look like. We got our internet connected earlier this week because that's the main thing, right? That's the first thing you get hooked up. Yeah, you need electricity and water, but internet is important. So we got the internet hooked up. Also, the guy showed up at like 8 o'clock on the day he was scheduled, which was awesome. But he did tell me that he tried to call and the phone number that was in the system didn't work. So we were super lucky that he showed up anyway. And I was right when I told the customer service lady that the phone number was in there wrong, even though she assured me that it was in the system correctly. So I don't know if I now can go in and edit it now that we've got the service connected, or if I have to wait until the first bill. I tried to update it myself when I registered for my account, but it wouldn't let me. So I don't know if that's something I have to wait until we actually have a bill to pay before I can change that. But yeah, a little annoying that I called to tell them that it was wrong, and she assured me that it was correct, and then it wasn't. But it all worked out. We got all of our internet set up, so it's all good. We actually moved our TV so that we could watch television here, which hubby had set up at the rental. So we had to go to the rental, get the TV, get the table we were going to be putting it on, get all the various bits and bobs. We use Apple TV, so getting all that connected. Well, he'd had all that connected at the rental, so he disconnected everything, and he also disconnected the modem at the rental. And he hooked up the TV that was there when we got there that belongs to the landlord and got it all set up and working. And we took off and came back to the house, left my son at the rental, and went to get our TV and everything hooked up here. And about 15 minutes later, I get a phone call from the youngest going, "What did you do? None of the internet works. My computers won't connect to the Wi-Fi." And I was like, "Well, is the TV working? Because how is the TV working if that's not working?" So he apparently had not turned the TV on, so he turned it on, and nope, it wasn't working either. So we told him to power cycle the modem, which he did, and it still wasn't working. So we were like, okay, well, we'll drive back over there and see what's going on, see if it's something hubby needs to fix. So in the time it took us to drive over to the rental, he apparently powered cycled it a few more times, and it finally reset its little pea brain and was working again. So we didn't have to call the landlord and say, "Hey, sorry, we somehow screwed up your internet," because my youngest wouldn't have known what to do with himself. That was on a Friday night. So even if we called the landlord, odds are they weren't going to have anybody come and fix it until after the weekend. But it all worked itself out, which was a good thing, because what was my youngest going to do with himself if he didn't have any internet? Can't get on the computer, can't get on his phone, can't watch TV. Thank goodness it all worked out. I mean, he could have just come to the house here with us and used our internet here, but it's all good. We did have another small issue with the rental. Sometime in January, I think it was, the water quit working, and the rental is on a well. And we knew from talking to the landlord that they had a pretty fancy filtration system in the basement, which the basement is used for storage. So we didn't have a key to the basement, so hubby couldn't go down there and look and see. So we had to call the landlord, and she sent some maintenance guy out. He looked at it and said, "Oh, the pump for the water pump has tripped a breaker for some reason." So he fixed it, and we went on about our business. And it worked great for a couple of weeks, and then it went out again. So we called, and she sent the same guy out, and he says, same thing, the breaker is tripped. He fixed it. We had water again for a day and a half, and then it went out again. And so we texted the landlord, and she's like, "This is ridiculous." So the maintenance guy came out and looked at it, and he said, "The pump is fried. It needs a new pump." And the landlord had to call a different maintenance guy to come out and exchange the pump for a new one, which they did. And it didn't take very long, and we had water, and fingers crossed, it has not gone out since then. Hopefully it won't go out again for the rest of the lease while we're there, which shouldn't be too much longer. Our lease is actually up at the end of April, and I think hubby and I are going to try and talk to the landlord and see if we can get out of it a month early, because we ended up moving into the house earlier than we thought. We'll see. At this late date, she might not want to do that because she won't be able to find somebody else to pick up the rental, and that's okay. But yeah, fingers crossed the water doesn't go out again. So for here, we bought our big couch, like I said. That was going to be our big purchase. And then our other big purchase, besides beds and bed frames, was a dining room table. And we had looked and looked and looked at a whole bunch of different ones, and I couldn't find one that I wanted. Finally found one. Came with 4 chairs and a little side bench, which we probably won't use the side bench because the table's going to be kind of up against one wall. So the bench will probably just be under the table. But that way, when we have people over, we have enough seating for everybody. Because I would like to, once we kind of get everything set up, I would like to have hubby's family over so they can all see the house, because nobody's actually seen it. They've seen pictures of it, but they've not been inside the house itself. So I would like to do that, have everybody over for dinner or something. There's another birthday coming up, so we'll see if we can talk everybody into coming up here, or if we're just going to have like a housewarming kind of thing and have everybody come up for that. So once the dining room table is delivered, we can do that. There's still a few small things that I want to get, like a computer chair, a bookcase, some small things like that, some shelving. So I do want to get some of those small things, but all the big ticket items I think are taken care of now. So now we can focus on getting the rest of our stuff out of the rental, getting all of this stuff out of my mother-in-law's house. I really want to go get some of the boxes that are up at mother-in-law's because several of those have my personal framed photos and things in them, and I want to hang those up. I want to, now that we have some furniture in the house, I want to go around and figure out where I want to hang up some things because that always makes it feel more like home when I have stuff on the walls. I mean, we have furniture and that sort of thing, but having things on the wall for me takes it from that bachelor pad feeling to homey. She also has several of my book boxes. I didn't bring all of my books. I pared down quite a bit, but I do have 3 or 4 boxes of books and I would like to get them out on display because I might like to read them at some point. My son was asking me that, Mom, how many times have you reread any of these books? And to be honest, I usually read most of the time on my Kindle these days. I shouldn't say on my Kindle. I use the Kindle app on my iPad, so I read on my iPad because it's backlit basically, so I don't have to have a light on if I want to read at night. Sometimes I have trouble falling asleep, so I can use the iPad to read, and I don't need a separate light that would keep my husband awake. Not that it matters now while he's not working. He can be up late, but just to be considerate that there's not a big old bright light shining in his eyes if he's trying to sleep. So anyway, I want to get some of those boxes so I can get my books out on display. We do also have a fire going right now in our wood stove. We've had a couple of days of snow. In fact, it's snowing as I'm filming, so hubby and I have had a wood fire going a couple of days this week while it is snowing outside. It's in the living room and you can see it sitting on the couch. We can see the flames of the wood stove and it's just been super cozy and I'm loving it. Being able to snuggle up together on the couch that we got under some blankets. And I'm actually really loving the couch because we can store the blankets underneath the chaise. It is a big storage bin basically, so I can put all of our comfy couch blankets in there, and if we want to clean up, we just throw them in there, and when we want to get cozy, we pull them right back out. Also this week, I need to tackle some admin stuff I've kind of been putting off because I don't really have an office space set up the way that I want. You guys know me, I like to be organized. My diamond painting stuff has not really been organized. My office stuff has not been organized. It was until we closed on the house and now it's all disorganized again. And I need to gather all of our stuff together so we can get our taxes done. I need to balance our checkbook. I need to make sure all of our bills have been paid. I need to make sure we know when all of our appointments are. My husband's sister and brother-in-law have some appointments out of town they need to go to, so hubby's going to be filling in for them with his dad. They usually trade off days going to help his dad with his lunch, so he's going to pick up a couple of their days while they're gone to an appointment. And then hubby is also taking his brother to an appointment. He has to go see a dental specialist, and I guess there isn't one in the town locally, so they got to drive to another town. So he's going to take him for that, and I got to make sure when that appointment is because hubby can't remember. I also want to get an appointment set up for me and the youngest. I had actually called about getting a cleaning for him and I because we were supposed to go in December, and then of course we ended up moving. And I called around, and some places weren't taking new patients. I found one that was, but their waiting list is until March of next year. So we were talking to the sister-in-law and she said, oh no, here, call the lady that we're going to. You'll get in much faster. It's a little bit more of a drive, but I'd rather get in. I don't like going to the dentist. You guys know that, but I have bad teeth and I would rather have them look at it and catch something before it becomes a big problem instead of waiting for a year and a half and then finding out I've got to have some major work done. All right, so I think that's most of what happened in my regular life. I mean, I feel like that's a lot, moving houses and all that goes along with that. So yeah, it's been a busy week. That is the reason that I didn't have a video go out on Tuesday. And then of course I didn't, not Tuesday, Thursday. And then I didn't have one go out on Saturday because hubby slipped on the ice. Everyone keeps telling me here that it's been a very, very mild winter so far. I think it's been plenty, and it's been one of those winters where it snows quite a bit and then it will warm up. Like it snowed for a couple of days, and then the next day it was like 50 some degrees almost. I don't know what that is in Celsius yet. I haven't brought my conversion chart from the rental. So there's a bunch of ice underneath the new snow that keeps falling, and sometimes it's hard to see. And he was outside by himself, so we didn't even know he'd fell until he came in and told us. But he was super proud of himself for not dropping the TV, which is what he was carrying out to the car when he slipped, which the TV was the least of my worries. I told him at our age, falling is no joke, man. He could break a hip, and then where would we be? He didn't think that was super funny, but I did. All right, anyway, so on to diamond painting stuff. So as you may have guessed, because I have started working on this kit, I finished the Bubble Girl from Bella Art Diamonds. She turned out super cute. Can't wait for you guys to see her. So you'll be seeing the post-completion review of her here shortly. So if you don't want to miss that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. Again, I'm working on, this is my last Distracted by Diamonds kit. I purchased two. The last purchase I made from her was this one, and I purchased the Halloween Girl, which I did for Halloween last year. I've got two other kits already kitted up and ready to go, and that is the Bubblegum Girl from Bella Safina, not to be confused with the Bubble Girl, which is the girl with the octopus from Bella Art Diamonds. So I have that one kitted up and ready to go, and then I also have another Bella Art Diamonds kit, which is the Yarn Crafter's Delight kitted up and ready to go. And that one is by the same artist that did the Bella Art Sip of Sunshine that I did. I think the Sip of Sunshine turned out super cute, and I think the Yarn Crafter's Delight is going to be cute as well. That's the one that has all the white ABs. So we'll see how I end up liking that one. I'm trying to think if I've ever done an all AB kit. I don't think I have. I've done an all rhinestone / crystal kit, or what does Diamond Art Club call them? Iridescent, but the silver backed ones, the rhinestones. I've done one of those. I did a seahorse with those. My little mini kit from Diamond Art Club, their little mini dazzler, whatever, dazzles, whatever they're called, the diner food one that I did from them was all fairy dust drills, but I don't think I've ever done a kit that was all just ABs. However, now that we are in the house sooner than I thought we would be, I can actually have the room to start on one of the projects that I want to do, because it's quite large and it's kind of going to be an ongoing project, and that is my Heaven and Earth Mermaid. I have two Heaven and Earth design crown jewel canvases that I bought probably back in 2021, maybe even 2020. I finished one of them, and that was the Pegasus and the Muses one, but I was not thrilled with how that one turned out. Even though it was super big, it really needed to be even bigger to show all the details. This mermaid one the image is not quite as detailed, and it's pretty large. I think it's about the same size as the Pegasus and the Muses one, but it's a kit that I'm going to be using my spare drills for. I have a bunch of spare drills kitted up for it already that I'm going to be using for it, so I would like to get started on that one, if just for no other reason than all those drills that I've already got kitted up, I can start using. I do have another Heaven and Earth crown jewel canvas that I want to do as well, but I think I'm going to hold off on that one. I think doing the mermaid one first. The other one I have left is not quite as big, so I feel like I need to do the big one first, and then I'll do the smaller one. But it'll be good to use up a bunch of my spare drills. And now that we're in the house, I have the room to kind of work on it and then put it away safely somewhere while I work on some smaller projects in between. That one is large enough that I don't want to just try and finish it all in one go. I'm going to flip back and forth between other canvases. I've also been on the lookout for some new things to try. So I went out searching to see if there were some new projects I wanted to try out and see how they worked. I actually came across a couple of them. So I'm going to tell you guys about them, and you'll let me know in the comments if you've ever done either of these. Because just because they're new to me doesn't mean they're new to everyone else. So the first one that I saw was a girl who was diamond painting on glass. And I thought, well, that's intriguing. How is she doing this? She used two different methods. The first method was basically she would take, I don't know whether it was custom art or art she'd purchased or whatever, but she would use an app and turn it into basically like a cross-stitch diamond painting grid with the DMC colors and the symbols and all of that. And then she would print it out basically on sticker paper so that she could adhere it to the back of the glass, and then you would be able to see all of the symbols and everything through the glass. And then she would put some sort of adhesive on the front of the glass and then just diamond paint directly onto the glass, onto that adhesive. I think she was using like just Xyron sticker tape, so it's double-sided adhesive to make stickers, obviously. So she was just putting that and then diamond painting on it, and then she ended up using, I think she bought like full sheets of double-sided adhesive and was using that to put on for the glue, basically. So I thought, well, that'd be interesting to try with some of the like Diamond Art Club or Diamond Dots poured glue and see how that worked. I thought it would be interesting because she was basically making these as kind of like display pieces to display around her house for this art on glass. And she had just bought like somebody's leftover drills or something and was using those and kind of making up her own color palette. She did one where she had someone do like a custom thing for her, but she didn't like the way the color palette turned out, so she was just doing it herself and kind of just pulling colors. I think they all looked good, but anyway. So then she decided she was going to try it a different way, and instead of attaching like this big sheet of sticker to the back of the glass, she was like using a cutting machine to cut out the sticker, put the sticker on top of the glass, and then on top of the sticker place the adhesive and then place the diamonds. So I'm not quite sure how it would all work, but it looked really intriguing and I'm curious to give it a go because I would love to do sort of like a custom like that. So it would be an art piece that I could put and display around my house. But I want to use some of the cute art that my youngest, or not my youngest, my oldest has drawn for me. She's really good and she has a really cute style that I like. I would like to do something like that and try it. So I don't know when I'll get around to that, but that is something that I would like to do. The other new project, and again, let me know if you've ever done this, is essentially the same. Oh, wait, let me back up. On the diamond painting on glass, the other method that she used, instead of doing like the sticker method, because basically it was like a small square pane of glass, so it ended up like kind of being a partial, so you could see the cutout sticker and where she diamond painted, but then the edges of the glass you could still see. So then the other method that she tried was essentially her taking a canvas, like from a diamond painting kit, so a canvas like this, peeling off the cover plastic, and then laying the glass over top of the kit that she had bought. And she had a much bigger piece of glass, but she still, I want to say it was probably like a 50 by 70 kit, and she didn't use all of it. She used maybe half of it, maybe a little bit less than that, and just cut off the excess because she was like, for like this one, maybe you wanted to focus on the person's face or something. So she did it that way as well, which ends up being, instead of a partial, end up being more like a full drill kit because it completely covered the glass. I don't know how that works as a display piece because I don't know how you would hang a full drilled piece of glass on the wall. So I think I would stick with like the partials, but might be fun to try it. So then the other project that I saw was a way to use up spare diamonds, and I would use up spares on the glass painting as well, but this one was somebody talking about making essentially granny squares. So like you would make granny squares for a crochet blanket. It's the same sort of idea, but you use your leftover diamond drills and essentially use the leftover colors from one of your diamond paintings to make a pattern for this granny square. The person I was watching actually had cut up like a blank canvas into actual squares and was doing different designs from like, I think a crochet book, but you could probably do anything, a crochet book, a cross stitch book, just anything that you would have a pattern for. Or you could just make your own pattern, something geometric. I've done something like that before on a blank canvas just to use up spare drills. But it looked really interesting too. I don't know if the eventual goal was to make a granny square from like every kit they had done that year and then make like a quilt at the end of the year to somehow attach them together. Because like I said, they had cut a blank canvas apart, So I don't really know how you would reattach it. I think if I was going to do it, I would just get a blank canvas and then I would just make squares on the canvas, like draw lines or something, or use release paper to designate sections or something, rather than cutting it apart and then trying to figure out if I want to later on down the road attach it all together or something. But it looked like a fun way to use up spare drills, which is something I'm always looking for. So curious to know if any of you have tried either of those and what you thought of the process. I did haul my 2 boxes of spare diamond painting drills all the way to Canada, mostly because I wanted to use them in my 2 Heaven and Earth designs. Otherwise, I really considered just leaving them behind, but decided that I would go ahead and bring them. I put a lot of work into putting those boxes together, so I decided I would go ahead and bring them. And amazingly, they survived pretty well. Nothing really got moved around, nothing got spilled or anything like that. So I've been really happy, actually, as we've been unpacking things, with how well everything has traveled. Really haven't had anything broken. I have opened one box of like little knick-knacky type stuff, some wood carvings that my great uncle had done, some various things like that, and nothing's been broken. So fingers crossed that nothing else is broken. So what else is going on in my diamond painting world? Nothing huge. I did buy a rolling cart when we were at the rental. I thought it would help me organize some of the little bits and bobs of diamond painting that are always floating around. You know, I have extra pins out, or my tweezers or scissors or putty, just some of that stuff, you know, that you don't really need all the time, but you need nearby. And I thought it would help me corral that kind of thing. I did put a bunch of stuff on it, but I don't think I'm really utilizing it the best way. So we'll see how I end up using it here at the house. We actually have a filming area and a diamond painting area set up upstairs with my office. But then I had my husband set up a little secondary area for me in the living room, because a lot of times when I'm diamond painting of an evening or whatever, he's watching TV. We would like to be in the same room for that. We do actually like spending time together. Even if we're not doing the same thing, just being in the same room is nice. So I have a little area set up downstairs for that as well. So maybe I'll be bringing my little organization cart down here to this little area instead of using it upstairs where I have all the other stuff set up. I don't know yet. Like I said, I haven't figured out the best way to use it. If you guys have any tips or tricks for the best way to use a little rolling cart, let me know. Also, can you guys believe that it's March already? Because I certainly can't. I know that a lot of my last few months have been spent kind of getting used to things and acclimating to things here and figuring out how things work here. But it's hard to believe we've been here since November already. Of course, all the snow has meant that we haven't gotten out as much as we would like to explore and do things like that. So I'm hoping as the days get longer and the weather gets a little bit warmer, that we'll be able to do some of that. Not quite sure where we're going to go first, but I definitely would like to do some of that. And because it's March, that means I need to go back through all of my notes from February and see how I did, so I can update you all on my diamond painting goals. I know I finished at least a couple of projects in February, so I should have a couple of finishes and some hours to add to my diamond painting goals total, so that will be good. No idea yet how I did with anything else because I haven't really looked. I do know that I hit over 14,000 subs, so a huge thank you to everybody who has subbed. If you haven't, why not? It does really mean a lot to me when people subscribe, so a huge thank you to everybody again who has done that. I can't wait to see how much further I can go. And a huge thank you to all of you. I am always so amazed and humbled at how kind everyone in this little community is. A hubby did fall on the ice yesterday, like I said. I guess it's been a couple of days now. However, he didn't break anything, thank goodness. As I said, nobody was out there to see it. He just came in. He did kind of bruise his hip and he scraped up his knee a little bit, but nothing major, which we are thankful for. And again, a huge thank you to everybody who sent well wishes for him. He is thankful and grateful for that as well. So he's been resting up, which means we can get back to finishing up, moving all of the stuff. So that's probably what we're going to be doing. Hopefully that won't interfere too much with my diamond painting video schedule, and this week we'll be back to regular programming. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.